Hello everyone, my name is Webweaver and welcome back to another episode of It's Look Who It Is. So here's the dealio, chat. Here's the dealio. I haven't changed the whatchamacallit, the reshade in like 80 years, and I realized that we've used the same color palette like 3 or 4 times since I last changed it. So we changed it. We've got I turned the blue down and now we have green. So we'll see what that goes. Oh, we're doing a jury run. We're doing a jury run, and we're gonna do an EXP jury run. All right, we're gonna do an EXP jury run. And actually, hold on, I changed my mind. 1 second. We are gonna do an EXP jury run, but I want to do all perks. So just give me 1 second. Sorry, my bad. MB. Anyways, so what was I gonna say? I don't know what I was gonna say, chat, but it is exactly what Jerry said. Full endorsement, full-fledged endorsement, 100/100. I don't want to do the Misery Worm. We haven't done the Misery Worm in so long. I'm sorry. Not this episode. Not on my nice Saturday evening. As nice as a Saturday evening could be. Let's see. I kind of wanted to do Court, but we did Court last time. We could do Spider God. No running away. The ultimate gambling arc. You're stuck with whatever dice you end up rolling. Now, we get half of a level up right at the beginning of the game just because Jury's just kind of built different like that, you know? Jury's just kind of built different, honestly. But, I will say, one thing that I've been thinking about a lot recently, for no particular reason, is the idea of just sort of getting, I don't know, more locked in, more control. Because, like, here's the thing. You don't, in the modern day and age, right, you need enough control to, you know, make money. And that's about it, unfortunately. But if you can have enough control and enough time to do things like social life, hobbies, those also help. But I was definitely thinking about locking in more. For again, no particular reason. There's no reason why I would think about locking in particularly more so than previously. Because, like, I think that it's okay. Like, if you're comfortable, it's okay to get... Not complacent's the wrong word because you're comfortable, or maybe complacent is the right word. I actually don't know the definition for the word complacent, but you know, I think it's time to lock in, chat. I do. We can just go here and I'll buy whatever the hell. Unfortunately, whatever the hell, I'll glug for the road. Or nah. We're keeping the medical kit. Do I want to take the monkey wrench, though? Like, the monkey wrench is way better, don't get me wrong, but it's like... And we are going to have the funny stats, but I wanted to get 12 strength, not 11 strength. Sad face. But, what was I going to say? I don't remember anymore. I'm kind of scatterbrained. I had to do... It's Saturday, so that means that I'm doing raid callouts for 80 years. And we're making good progress because I'm helping, like, I think I've said this before, I'm basically helping, like, FC members who don't Savage Raid very often get a mount in P12S. And it's a complicated fight. It's pretty hard. No way you're gonna eat that. Could have been a fantastic glug moment, but alas. Also, Final Fantasy VI will be real later tonight, although because of the size of the file and the length of the video, which, you know, is the size of the file, basically, you know, it might be past CST midnight, so alas, dear Yorick, it might be a Sunday episode, but it will be done. It will be done. That is true, that is real. This is fact-checked by true Shiakawa patriots. True Gestalian patriots as real. And true. But I'm trying to think about, like, is there anything to talk about that is not, Is there anything to talk about that wouldn't immediately date this video? You know what I mean? Sadness. Sag. My face when no camera dodge. That's one of the underrated aspects of the camera, by the way. Is that, you can dodge and have a pretty good dodge chance. I mean, on your own is really strong. Doomed already is also really strong, but getting on your own, if we end up getting fame as well, kind of sucks a little bit, but second enemy gore-covered student, that is the thing that I think about sometimes, is that some of these videos are just inherently, they kind of exist in a dated vacuum, because we're usually talking about, like, what's going on with the channel, or talking about, like, I don't know, just random shit. We can dodge, right? Yeah. Go ahead and give me some, assess the situation. No. Give me some sanity back, chat. You broke my nose, you piece of crap. 7 damage per attack, by the way. Alright, listen, I think this is disingenuous to call it a gambling arc episode, because we're basically just gambling on what combat we get into, and what perks we get with all perks. And we were gambling on our weapon too, I suppose. I feel like you do that in every World of Horror run, so I don't feel like it's too good to call that, you know, a radical episode of the gambling arc. But we are kind of ballin'. Like, we are kind of ballin'. You gotta admit. And we gotta make sure that we don't end up with... We have a lot of stamina items, by the way. Do we fix the broken nose with a bandage? Maybe, but we can keep it for now. Like, I'm not worried about it. We don't need the meat cleaver, it's fine. We probably don't need the meat cleaver. We most likely don't need the meat cleaver. We got a lump of flesh, we got a medical kit. We actually don't, whoops. Clap, bow, clap, clap, no! I don't even know if that has any correlation, by the way, but... I mean, I would like a B-slot item. I mean, sure, let's just eat the lump of flesh. That was a mistake. Eating the lump of flesh was a mistake. For a stalker's mask, that's not worth it. That's not worth it, chat. That's really bad. You don't want that. You so don't want that you're currently wishing we could actually wear the nice ring, like, legitimately. You ever think about that? Let's see if you need to do the clap bow properly for this next part. Go outside and touch stone. So true. Yikes! We did click one button wrong, and now we're in hell forever. Is that true? Oh, stealth would be so good, chat. Running shoes would be so good, chat. I almost want to re-roll this. If we weren't playing Jury, I would probably re-roll this, because this is real bad. We definitely feed the plant, because I definitely do. Come on, don't screw me. I have the vigil pamphlet, please. I don't wanna, nothing went wrong, please. My dreams. Okay, thank God. What the hell? Why were there 2 knives there? We killed Sotomoto already. There should have only been 1 knife there. Am I crazy? There's just things about this game that I assume. And it's like, oh, actually, I don't want to use it. I'd like to equip it, thank you. And you know, we can actually, I'm taking the EXP. The EXP is so worth it on Jury compared to everybody else. Bulletin, oh shit, this is like we get roads closed and we just lose the game automatically. Fair enough. Bulletin's long, Botanist is long, Household Hell is long. There's not really like a good mystery spread to do here. I'm trying to think of like an anecdote that would work that is like, not gonna immediately date the video, but I think we'll just embrace the fact that the video is gonna be immediately dated, okay? So, we don't need core strength. Folklore studies is actually, like, kind of insanely, I think, the correct play. I don't think we, like, even if we fight a boss, I don't think core strength is necessary. I really don't think it is. It's funny, but I think folklore studies is actually the correct play, but we'll go with the more enjoyable play, too. Oh, no, I'm going with folklore studies. Getting the +1 knowledge is correct. We actually don't know what the lighthouse is. If the lighthouse does not have a knowledge check, like, we do the lighthouse blind, right? If the lighthouse... Oh my god, if you took core strength... if you know that the lighthouse has a knowledge check, that's why folklore studies is the correct play. Or if you're just going in blind, then you take folklore studies. If you know that the lighthouse does not have a knowledge check, then you'd probably take core strength there. But honestly, I am trying to be a believer in stats. I'm not doing the side quest. Like, the side quest is 15 EXP, but you have to do 2 investigations, and then those investigations could be vital clues. No, it's not worth it. We got some minor injuries that we need to get with bandages. Bite, specifically. Broken nose, if we try to rest, is important, but... Oh, we rolled a 10, huh? That's pretty cool. That's this one. Everybody knows it's middle left. Everybody knows it's purple and BPOG. So true. Sorry, I've got brain rot. But, so here's the thing. I guess I'll just talk about, like, what I got going on, I guess, in the interim period. And that is, I have, you know, recreationally what I've got going on. I don't really talk about personal stuff very often, if ever, because internet safety is important. You know, Listen, I'm from a generation of epic gamers who... Ooh. Yeah, medical kit would have been nice there, chat. I am from a generation of epic gamers who were taught that internet safety is so vitally... Oh, we rolled a funny 8 and we're gonna die moment. So true. As we get the same event 3 times in a row. We're gonna need to get broken nose cured, by the way, which is so tragic. I'm gonna throw the meat cleaver, just because you do 3 to all. You're scaring me right now. You're a little frightening, a little devious creature. Can I get out of here? By the way, this shit's terrifying. But when I was a kid, you know, they told me, and by they I mean the adults in my life. Sorry, I've been on Twitter for so long doom scrolling that whenever I think of the word they, I think of the worst possible connotations for it, because I have all of the brain rot imaginable at this point. I've done a lot of doom scrolling. Twitter is a very bad place. Do not go on Twitter under any circumstance. That's rule number 1. You know, I'm already brain rotted on Twitter, all right? You don't need to you don't need to martyr yourself in the X mines, formerly Twitter, okay? You don't need to you don't need to harm your mental health like that. But you know, I was always told when I grew up that when I was growing up that internet safety is so important because you can anyone with an internet connection can see what you publicly post. Core Strength is here to show us that it was the correct choice all along. So true, Core Strength King, thank you. Everyone, like, if you make a public post, it doesn't matter how niche you think your Tumblr is, or how niche you think your Twitter page is, okay? Anyone can see what you post, okay? And the thing that's crazy about it, more than anything, is that when you look at shit like this, okay? I guess we'll just do household hell, right? When you look at shit like this, okay? Very important. Oh, the forest was doomed and we went through like an entire doomed investigation and I didn't even care? Oh my god. Like, anything that you post on the internet is A, there forever, and B, like, you will... You know what? Let's just do it like that. That's based as hell. I want a third discharge summary. Do you think we can get a third discharge summary, chat? Let's do it. Oh, I didn't pay for it, so it went away. Okay, that's fair. That actually puts the bandage up on the tier list a little bit. That actually makes the bandage a way better item, because you're not rolling on that table. Doomed Already is kind of cracked. I mean, even though our stats are good now, Doomed Already is still cracked. What if I put a point into Charisma as like a little treat? As like a little investment into the future? Oh my goodness. I'm posting today. I'm sorry. I don't have the banter engine isn't remiss, right? But anything that you post on the internet will be there forever. I don't care how niche or like small your page is, your post is, anything that you make public, you should assume anyone can see. Anyone that you know can see, anyone in your life can see it. Anyone can see it. Anyone can stumble across what you post on the internet, okay? And so, you have to keep your personal information secure and safe on the internet, because it's literally the only thing that makes sense. I'll go to the seaside one more time. It's a low threat level area. 15 EXP is nice. What curse do we get? That's not so bad. Compared to everything else we've got going on, that's not so bad. Yo, if it isn't 24 damage. I'll admit, core strength is pretty good. I never said it wasn't good, I just said that we don't need it compared to maybe needing 8 knowledge. That's all I said, that's all I ever meant. This is such a weird way to do it, but let's do it like that. Panic buying things in the name of survival? I would never. Aw, shit. Whoops. I mean, dexterity and perception, we technically don't need that. That's fine. Technically don't need that. Hey, I don't mean to be rude, but, holy crap. Immaculate? Okay. Knowledge. Then, we're gonna complete this mystery. No! Time skip, no! Bathtub clutch! I mean, we might as well get a good perk. Also, I don't know what happens if we go up with the horror catches us while we're leveling up. Daddy's girl, quick thinking. I mean, honestly, like, sure, whatever. Look at that. We managed to get to 94788. That's kind of cool, honestly. Yo, Plungerhead is streaming? I haven't... My watch just gave me the most bizarre notification I think I've ever seen. Homie is back? I let him out of the... He finally finished editing the Dark Souls series. And he's there. Homie is back. By the way, the Dark Souls finale is tomorrow. Maybe with also Final Fantasy VI because of how long the video takes to render and upload, because, you know, it's like an hour plus long. It takes a little bit longer. I'm doing this near the end of the day. I didn't record before my raid. I'm sorry. I raided. I also need to eat dinner at some point. You know, you ever think about that? Dinner is nice. You ever think about dinner? You ever think about dinner? You ever think about eating? You ever think about, like, making sure that you're eating enough food? And you're not wasting away? And you have energy to face the day? That's just a random thought. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I was talking about, like, internet safety for, like, very briefly, and then I just, like, trailed off into something completely random and wrong and weird. Just completely different, way of going about it. But, like, here's the thing, you know? When I was a kid, my parents, the adults in my life, they're always like, you gotta be super careful with what you put on the internet. Because everything that you put on the internet is available forever, archived somewhere. And here, listen, the rule that I would say that I operate by on the internet is that if it's something that you're trying to, if it's an old video that you really like, or an old article, or an old poem, or an old fan fiction, or an old Flash game, or whatever, it's gone. You'll never see it again. But if it's something that is personal information, or, you know, something that you think is innocuous and fine to share on the internet, that'll be out there forever. it'll come back to bite you. If it could potentially bite you, like 5 years, 10 years later. And what I mean by that is, sorry, I've been so brain rotted on Twitter. Whenever I think about stupid shit like that, I'm like, oh my god, cancel culture? But no, what I mean is, like, let's say you post, like, a picture of, like, your apartment or something. Then, like, 3 years later, somebody could come along and say, that special kind of paint on the wall is symbolic of, it's giving Midwestern Ohio house built in 1980s vibes. And if you look at that door handle, that clearly narrows it down to a very specific little neighborhood in Western Ohio. And then it's like, you know, somebody is, like, sending you pictures of your, like, house on Google Street View or something, or your apartment on Google Street View. You know, it's like, the thing is, you post anything on the internet, and it's personal information, you better just be okay with that being, like, okay, is it public knowledge? I'm dumb. Is it public knowledge? Yes, it is public knowledge by default, because there's, like, you have a footprint. Right? The government keeps track of you, and this information is publicly available for a lot of people, right? Like, people are in databases. You know, we used to have phone books where you could literally, it was like everybody's number in a book, and then you could look for somebody's name, and it's like, this is their phone number, and then you'd call it, right? Like, that sounds insane, but that's, like, real, you know? It's like, this information is out there. It's like things that exist. And it's all public information. The thing is, there's so much of it that you're probably not going to be singled out. And B, you don't have, like, if you don't have anything, let's just fight the boss, it'll be fun. If you don't have, like, if you post something that is personally identifiable online, this is such a dumb thing. Like, we need stamina, but I don't want to lose charisma. We have the nice ring, too. That's the only reason we have 8 charisma. That's so silly. We have +2 external charisma from on your own and the nice ring. That's really, at least to me, funny. When you post something online, if it is personally identifiable, then that means that somebody who sees your tweet, or somebody who sees your post on, I don't know, Blue Sky or whatever the hell, or Facebook, I mean, Facebook especially, but, like, you know, if you post, like, a YouTube video or a tweet or whatever they call it on Blue Sky, when you do that, like, if somebody can get your name from that, they can find out where you live, where you work, where you go to school, and it doesn't even require, like, any sort of, like, it literally doesn't even require any sort of, like, special detective work. Like, it's literally just matching a name in one of these publicly available databases, and then just, like, going from there, right? Like, it's creepy, but it is what it is, I suppose. And so, you know, people who are on the internet, especially younger people, you do not need to be posting about, oh, this is the state that I live in, or you don't need to be posting images about yourself. You don't need to be posting personal details about your life. You especially, and this is something that's driven me nuts, is there's been this, and here's the thing. In a perfect world, and with people who, if you have like a private Discord and the only people who are your friends are, like, people that you trust, this is fine. But for something like Twitter, it is basically, especially with how Twitter is nowadays, you're basically just, like, advertising what people can be mean to you about that will get under your skin. Like, like, one of the worst things that I've seen is, and it happened recently, there was, like, this kid who didn't understand what the purpose of a tweet was, because it was an adult who was tweeting about a controversial adult topic, And then this kid who did not understand was like, but what did I do? I didn't do anything. Because naive, innocent. And then everybody was like beating their ass to death. They smelled blood, you know? Like, first of all, if you're a kid or a younger person on the internet and you see something that you don't understand, I hope you have a good enough relationship with your parent or guardian that you can just ask. Because that was a thing that my parents did, which is, if there was something that I saw, because it was like right when the internet was a new thing, and, you know, it was when, like, online gaming was becoming more and more commonplace, you know? One of the things that my parents told me immediately was, like, if there's something that you don't understand, just tell us, right? Like, just literally just tell us and show it to us if you can, and we can, like, you know, kind of help you process this information, because there's so many things online that kids should not see. Like, that's just true. That's just real. 100%. But also, it's like, Jesus Christ. You know, you see kids on the internet, on, like, Twitter and stuff, and they put in their bio, like, these are the things that bother me. This is my DNI list. And then these are, like, my... And listen, you know, obviously, I don't remember what second mystery I had, so I just clicked randomly. I literally wasn't even looking at them. I was just circling my mouse, and then I clicked randomly. But, you know, like, you'll see some people on Twitter who are minors. They'll have, like, their Twitter account that's like, here's my DNI list, which is like, these are all the things that bother me. If you enjoy these things or are these things, don't interact with me because that would disturb me. And then they say that they're a minor in their bio, and it's like, people are gonna bully you, right? Like, it sucks, because I think that you have a legitimate right to be able to, like, set your boundaries and exercise your boundaries, and those are healthy things that you should do. But when it's like something like social media, especially like when people love getting dunks on each other and people love just tearing into each other's throats, you know, like, giving people a list of, like, you know, giving people a list of things that bother you is like,
well, we're terribly sorry. We've lost Emmerdale through some technical fault.
Yo, what up? We're back. Basically what I was saying, or what I was trying to say, is, like, you basically put these things in your bio, and they are things that people can exploit to make you upset, to try to rile you up, to get a reaction out of you. And it sucks. Like, it just does. It's really bad, too, because it's like, you don't really have any recourse for this at all, because it's a good thing to set your boundaries and say, like, hey, this is what I'm comfortable with and this is what I'm not comfortable with. Like, if you're into this DNI, like, I think that's a good thing. But at the same time, it's like, if it's a public platform, especially one that's so toxic, where you can't even properly block people anymore, that shit's insane. Like, the blocking feature is, like, completely butchered. Like, I think that sometimes it might be better to just not give that information out. Especially if it's, like, personal information that people can use to manipulate you or harm you. You know? And so it's like, I don't talk about my personal life on the internet basically at all. And when I do, I use multiple layers of, like, being vague. And having, like, I use specific language that's, watered down. So it's like, even if you understand, like, because what I'm saying is, like, understandable, I hope, but what I'm trying to get at is, like, I put, like, degrees of separation to what I'm talking about to me, you know? So I won't say, like, you know, like, let's say I go to the grocery store, right? I'll say that I go to the grocery store, and I will only say that I got generic brand names, because I don't know if there's a specific brand of specific food that I buy that's specifically a certain part of the country. Is it paranoia? Yes, it is, but you really have to realize that, like, whatever you put out on the internet, it'll be there forever. And people can find your personal information through the internet, and if you don't want them to do that, you need to put degrees of separation between yourself and the rest of the wider internet. You know, that's just internet safety, very important. Internet safety, very important. I don't know, I'm kind of like rambling and losing my mind right now. Stay safe out there. Have a good one. Bye. Final Fantasy VI later. And if you're watching this in the future when the Final Fantasy VI series is over, go watch the Final Fantasy VI series. Do it now.